guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today I'm going to be going over my July TBR. So I believe I have 14 books on this TBR, so my average has been 15. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to complete this for this month. So without further ado, the first book that I want to get to this month is Beasts Made of Night by Tochi Onyebuchi. This is a fantasy story about this world where sins are extracted from the body because purity is revered, and with that there are also these people called the Aki who eat sins and are seen as lesser because once you eat a sin you take on that guilt and that feeling of that sin. So these Aki are typically driven mad the longer that they work. And this follows the story of the most talented Aki, where he has to understand his role in society while also trying to provide for himself and his family. The next book that I have is Red Tigress by Amelie and Zhao. This is the sequel to Blood Heir, which I really enjoyed. So I'm very excited to get to Red Tigress. I love this story. This follows a girl who is a blood mage. Her narrative was always told that she killed her father and was then subsequently killed after that, but she has basically been on the run to try and find the person who actually did kill her father so that she can secure her brother's reign as emperor. And I loved book one. It was very strong for a debut, and I have very, very high hopes for the sequel. Up next, I have Dorothy Must Die. I don't have the dust jacket on because I'm reading it currently. This is a twist on The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy, instead of being the savior, is actually the villain. That's about all I know about this book, so I'm intrigued. Wizard of Oz isn't really one of my favorite movies of all time. Don't get me wrong, it's a great movie, but I'm intrigued to see where this twist is gonna go. Next, I have Frankly in Love by David Yoon. This follows a boy named Frank who is trying to trick his parents into thinking that he is dating a Korean girl. So this is a fake dating trope so that both of their families are happy and satisfied that they're dating someone from Korea, but really it's to hide the fact that he's dating a white girl. So I've heard really good things about this book. I've actually never read a David Yoon book before. I don't think I've actually read a Nicola Yoon book either. I think most of her stuff came out while I was in college, and I didn't read a single book in college that wasn't assigned to me. So I'm intrigued to get to this. It's been a hot minute since I've read a young adult contemporary book because they've just started to leave kind of a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm intrigued to see if this one will break that. Up next, I have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I have no clue. I've read the synopsis of this book several times. I keep thinking that this is like a demon book where it's gonna be like a horror thriller-esque thing, but it's about a thing, I don't even want to call it a person, named Piranesi who's stuck in a labyrinth and has to get out. But it sounds like it's also like an infinite loop of the maze. I have no clue. So I'm going into this one blind. It's really short, and I'll let you know, because there was so much hype around this book, and then it came out, and then I never heard anything ever again. So I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing. Up next, I have Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. This is the start to a obviously the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland trilogy. It sounds like this is a prequel similar to Heartless. We'll see how this compares to Heartless, because I enjoyed that one very much. This one's a lot shorter, but this one is a trilogy opposed to Heartless, which was a standalone. But I really like Alice in Wonderland. There's a lot you can fiddle with within that story because everything's so ridiculous. So I'm excited to see what kind of ridiculousness we'll get in this one. Up next, I have The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'd love to tell you what this is about. I honestly only have it because I love From Blood and Ash and I want to read more Jennifer L. Armentrout. And I heard that this series is pretty good. Also, it just ended. I think it's in the world of her first series, Lux. So aliens? I have no idea. Aliens. It's after aliens attack. But I expect high romance. This one I think is YA, so probably not as much as From Blood and Ash. But I expect heavy romance and a lot of pining, and I'm ready for it. Up next, I have In an Absent Dream by Seanan McGuire. This is the 4th book in the Wayward Children series, which is a novella series following different children after they go on this Narnia-esque adventure and live in this Narnia. There's different types of worlds, and they are spit back out and have to deal with the real world. So a lot of these have been origin stories, so we get a look into what the world is that they originated from, or it bounces all the way around, and I've been really enjoying these. They're really fun, they're really cute and quirky and short, but they pack a big punch for such a tiny little book. They're very whimsical and really just good one-sitting books. Up next, I have The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. This is a book following a girl who survives this magical freeze. Her and her best friend survive this magical freeze, but are then subsequently killed. He is subsequently killed later, but I think it's like 5 years after that, she finds out that he's being held hostage in the castle in the mountain, which caused the freeze, so she has to go on this rescue mission to save her best friend. Just seems like a very cold book. This I think is my April Fairy Loot, April or March? It's a Fairy Loot one. So I'm trying to catch up on all of my special editions, and I'm doing relatively okay. I'm only behind like 4 books, which isn't bad, considering I do 2 book boxes. Sometimes more, depends. But I'm excited to get to this. Again, similar to Piranesi, actually not similar to Piranesi. I didn't hear a single thing about this book before it released, and I haven't heard a single thing after. So I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing, it's flying under the radar. I don't really know. But I sometimes like a good cold story. Those seem to be a lot of fun, and it's a very good atmosphere to portray. Up next, I have my reread for this month, which is Heart of Thorns by Bree Barton. This follows a witch hunter, and she then discovers that witches aren't as bad as she has been led to believe her entire life when her sister goes missing. And she goes on this journey to discover what witches actually are. So I really enjoyed this. I bought this when this first came out, and I haven't read the other 2 books. The Soul of Cinder, which is the final book, just came out in January. And so I want to reread this so that I can read Tears of Frost and then Soul of Cinder. I really enjoyed it the first time around. This is one of the books I just sort of picked up because I thought the cover was cool, I thought the premise was cool, and this was right when I was getting back into reading and I was buying anything that sounded interesting, and I really enjoyed it. So those are the 10 books that I have for my official TBR, and I have 4 more books that are on my unofficial TBR. So first, I have Sarah's pick for me this month, which is Wild Magic by Tamora Pierce. She's been trying very hard to get me to read Tamora Pierce, even bought me this book. And this is one of her favorite books by Tamora Pierce. I believe this is the start to her world. I know Tamora Pierce is very well known for every single one of her books. Happens within the same world, just a different part of the timeline. This one has like animal companions and familiars and that whole thing. And she really wants me to read it because there's an aspect of the magic in here that she wants to incorporate in our novel, but she doesn't want to give away the book to me. So she wants me to read the book. So I'm going to read the book. My own monthly pick for this month is Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. I got this right as release, pre-ordered the crap out of it. I love Victoria Aveyard. I've heard phenomenal things about this book, and I just really want to get to it. I don't want it to sit on my shelves for months while hearing how amazing it is. I really want to get to it, and I follow her on TikTok. She's going to be announcing information about book 2 soon. So very, very excited. This one is a bit chunky, but that's okay. I'm still very excited for it. Next, I have Night of the Dragon by Julie by Julie Kagawa. This is the final book in the Shadow of the Fox series, which is another book that Sarah had me read for her monthly pick for me. So I'm trying to finish out the series. I've been really enjoying the first two books. Book 2 had a little bit of sequel syndrome, but I'll talk about that more in my wrap up for June. But I am still very intrigued as to how the story is gonna end. The books keep getting shorter and shorter, which makes me nervous. But this is just a fun, wild ride following this girl who is half kitsune, and the world is so whimsical and imaginative. It also is reminiscent of historical Japan, which is very cool. It reads very much like an anime, and I get a lot of Avatar Glass Bender vibes. And it's just a very fun series. And the last book is Sarah and mine's July Book of the Month pick for our book club, which we chose Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. This is a retelling of The Lady of Shalott, which is Elaine from the Arthurian legends. I love Elaine's story. It's so interesting and intriguing. I've read several books following her, and I really like Laura Sebastian's writing. She's the author of Ash Princess, and she's not afraid to go dark or creepy, and this is her adult debut, so I'm very excited to see what she does with this very famous Arthurian legend. So those are the 14 books that I plan on reading this month. I'm really excited to jump into my TBR as always, so let me know down below in the comments what you're planning on reading this month and what you're most excited for. And that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We post videos every Tuesday and Thursday and the occasional Sunday. And I will see you guys in our next one. Bye!